It seems like every year around this time of the offseason, NBA fans simply get bored without their regular prescription of basketball news, which leads to some pretty ridiculous posts and discussions on social media, most often regarding who the greatest players of all time are, or where certain players rank when compared to each other, or basically how trash everybody else's opinions on the topic are. Which is fine, I guess, whatever helps people get through the offseason, but today I want to start a new conversation, a legitimate one, and that is who can claim that they had the greatest NBA career of all time. Now, this is a question that certainly needs some explaining, and to be clear, any and all NBA-related accomplishments are valid when comparing the resumes of two people. That includes their playing career, as well as any coaching and or front office accolades. So welcome back everybody, my name is Tucker, and before I get to the real answer to this question, let's look at some of the contenders. First, there are a group of players whose accomplishments were so great that they put themselves in this conversation with those accolades alone. Those being Michael Jordan, obviously, along with Bill Russell and his 11 championships. Now, even though both of them attempted to add to their all-time resumes outside of their playing careers, Jordan in the front office and as an owner, and Russell as a coach, neither of them have done anything since their playing days to truly move the needle in this conversation. And in MJ's case, it probably would have been better for his all-time legacy if he had never worked in the front office or become owner of the Bobcats/Hornets. Second, there are a group of players whose playing careers weren't as decorated as Jordan's or Russell's, but they were still extremely successful to varying degrees and then experienced more success after their playing days were over, either as a coach or general manager. These include Isaiah Thomas, who won 2 championships with the Pistons as a player, and although he did have his struggles with different franchises in the front office, he is credited with building up a solid initial talent base with the Raptors in the late 90s. Kevin McHale, a 3-time NBA champion who had an up-and-down career as a general manager and coach, but did draft Kevin Garnett with the 5th pick as GM of the Timberwolves in 1995. Doc Rivers, a 1988 NBA All-Star and championship-winning coach with the Celtics in 2008, and widely regarded as one of the better coaches in the league today that can still continue to add to his accomplishments. Lenny Wilkens, a 9-time All-Star and championship-winning coach with the Supersonics in 1979, and a member of the Naismith Hall of Fame as both a player and a coach. Larry Bird, a 3-time champion and 3-time MVP, who also went on to win NBA Coach of the Year in 1988 and NBA Executive of the Year in 2012 with the Indiana Pacers. Jerry Sloan, a 2-time All-Star in the 60s and one of the greatest coaches of all time with over 1,200 career regular season wins. And finally, Elgin Baylor, an 11-time All-Star and 2006 NBA Executive of the Year with the Clippers. However, with all due respect to everyone I just mentioned, and I made sure to include them because their accomplishments are nothing to ignore and certainly deserve to be noticed, there are only a few people in NBA history with a legitimate claim to the greatest career of all time. The first is Pat Riley, who between his playing, coaching, and front office career has won an astounding 9 championships in the NBA. His only ring during what is clearly a subpar playing career compared to the other people mentioned in this video so far came during the 1972 season with the LA Lakers, a franchise that he would then go on to coach to 5 more championships, one as an assistant in 1980, and then as the head coach in 1982, 85, 87, and 88. After moving on and nearly winning a championship with the Knicks in the 90s, Riley eventually ended up with the Miami Heat as their president and head coach, going on to win the 2006 NBA title before moving into the front office and collecting 2 more championships there in 2012 and 2013. Although his total number of championships might not quite be on par with someone like Bill Russell's 11, the thing that really puts Riley in this category of true contenders is his level of success across different facets of the NBA. He had success as a player, coach, and executive, winning a championship at all 3 levels, and although he doesn't have the greatest career of all time in my opinion, it is still an incredible one and one that he can still build upon. Second to last now in the contender category is Phil Jackson, the winner of an incredible 13 NBA championships in his career. The first 2 came in 1970 and 73 as a player for the New York Knicks, although he didn't actually play for the 1970 team due to injury. And then after that, he won a ridiculous 11 championships as a coach, with 2 three-peats with the Bulls from 91 to 93 and 96 to 98, and another three-peat with the Lakers from 2000 to 2002, and then back-to-back championships again in 2009 and 2010. The fact that I was almost out of breath there reading off Jackson's coaching accomplishments with 2 different franchises tells you all you need to know about how accomplished his career was, and then you can just throw the 2 championships as a player on top of that as an added bonus as well. What an amazing career. And moving on now to the last member of the contender category, Red Auerbach. Though he doesn't have a playing career in the NBA to boost his candidacy, it really doesn't matter simply because of the sheer number of championships he has to his name. 9 as a coach, including 8 straight from 1959 to 1966, and 7 more as an executive, totaling a ridiculous 16 NBA championships in 29 years in the league in his career. However, despite the amazing careers of everybody that I have mentioned up to this point, there is one person that, in my opinion, has put together the greatest NBA career of all time, and that is the logo, Jerry West. First, let me go over his accomplishments, and then I'll make my case. West made 14 straight All-Star teams from 1961 to 1974, and won his only championship as a player with the Lakers in 1972. However, he did lead the Lakers to 9 different finals appearances in his career, despite only winning the 1 championship. As an executive, he has twice been named the NBA's Executive of the Year in 1995 and in 2004, and is credited for building the Lakers' talent base that allowed them to win 5 championships in the 80s. Years later, still with the Lakers, he made a draft night trade for Kobe Bryant and later signed Shaquille O'Neal, paving the path to 3 consecutive championships from 2000 to 2002. He then moved on to the Grizzlies, and although he didn't win any championships with them, he built a solid playoff team and hired 2004 Coach of the Year Hubie Brown before leaving the team in 2007. From there, he became an executive with the Golden State Warriors and helped them build a roster that would ultimately add 2 more championships to his resume in 2015 and 2017, bringing his official career total to 9. Now, having gone over West's resume, I'm sure some of you are asking how in the world I can say that he had the greatest NBA career of all time when he only won 9 championships. Well, first, just think about that for a second, that we are using only and 9 championships in the same sentence as a way to downgrade an NBA career. And second, I never said that the number of championships would be the only criteria used here. If that was the case, I would have just ranked Red and Phil Jackson 1 and 2 and ended the video right there. Instead, let's take a deeper look at what West accomplished. He is, by many people's estimation, one of the 25 to 40 best players in the history of the NBA. You can argue about his placement in there all you want and talk about how the eras were different and all that, but 25 to 40 is a conservative estimate that I think most, if not all of us, can agree on. He was a 14-time All-Star, one of the statistical leaders in the league all time when he retired, and had a chance to win more championships than just the one during his 9 different trips to the finals if a few things had gone his way in those series. Not to take anything away from those great Celtics teams. So, with that established, can we also agree that West is one of the top 5 greatest NBA executives of all time? Other members of that group would include Jackson, Red, and Riley, but it's fair to put West in that group as well when you consider the talent he put on those Lakers rosters in the 80s, the franchise-altering move to trade for Bryant, and the ability to convince O'Neal to come to LA to bring the franchise an additional 3 championships onto his time in Memphis, and more notably his time with the Warriors. Basically, everything Jerry West has touched as an executive has turned to gold. That even extends to his current employer, the LA Lakers, who experienced a remarkable turnaround from the failed Lob City era to now being a championship contender with 2 stars on their roster. So when you combine his accomplishments as a player and executive, who has had a better combination of success throughout NBA history? Red was incredible as a coach and executive, there's no denying that, but he doesn't have a playing career to further boost his case, although you could argue that he doesn't really need it. Both Jackson and Riley won championships as players, but weren't nearly the same kind of contributors or caliber of players as West was during his legendary Lakers career. As always with these kinds of subjective discussions, you could make an argument and a case either way for honestly any of the top 4 that I've mentioned, but to me, the choice is relatively clear, and as a result, if you're looking at the combination of work as a player, coach, and executive as the definition of a career in the NBA, then Jerry West is the clear choice for the most successful NBA career of all time. And there you have it. That is going to be the end of today's video. I thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Once again, my name is Tucker. If you missed any of my previous videos, then be sure to check out the boxes on screen. Thanks again, and I'll see you all next time.